Hello and welcome to Mr. Rock's Top 10 AEW male wrestlers that Mr. Rock likes and doesn't like. I got a list of 20 wrestlers here, and I'm gonna go through them all and literally tell you which ones I like and which ones I don't like. Because I recently pre-ordered the new AEW game, and technically, um, I thought this would be a great time to literally explain which ones I like and which ones I don't like. So with number 10 on the ones I do like. We're going to do the ones I do like first and then go to ones Mr. Rock doesn't like. So, number 10 on Mr. Rock's AEW top 10 male wrestlers that I like is Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson is a good wrestler. He had some good matches with MJF there um, at AEW Revolution. Recently, he hasn't really done too much in a way. But he is a good wrestler. He has a good work ethic and everything else. So I actually do appreciate that, and I think that technically, that see that in the foreseeable future he could be the next AEW World Champion. Number 9 is Sammy Guevara. Uh, Sammy Guevara is good and everything else. I feel that technically he's still in Chris Jericho's shadow, though. He's been in there since the Inner Circle days, and you know, it just seems like he hasn't stepped out and been his own character. But in all fairness, he has learned to compete for the AEW World Championship just recently with that Four Pillars match, and I thought he was doing good there. So I could see him literally moving up in the foreseeable future as well. Number 8 is Malachi Black. Malachi Black, in a way, is a really good wrestler. Um, Good striking ability, good kicks, good everything. I freaking love this wrestler. You know, I could literally I could see him being the next TNT champion pretty damn easily. I already know he's the trios champion, but if he ever broke away from that and wanted to become a singles wrestler, I can easily see him becoming TNT champion easily. Number 8 is John Moxley. I'm wearing a John Moxley t-shirt right now. Um, hey, crazy. Hope all is well. But yeah, number 7 is John Moxley. Um, John Moxley, to me, is very violent, very vicious, which I like, don't get me wrong. But there is a point where he just seems to literally form this heel, the Blackpool Combat Club, and always has it with him now. I liked it when he was his own character. When he literally started teaming with the Blackpool Combat Club, it sort of weakened his value. That's why he's on the list, but pretty low on the list. You know. Number 6 is Orange Cassidy. Uh, Orange Cassidy to me is a very good, hard-working wrestler. He's a comedic wrestler because he likes to put his hands in his pockets and everything else. But at the end of the day, that's his gimmick. But for thick and thin, I see him. He's on TV almost every day. Wrestling for that international championship there. Um, you know that he holds. So yeah. Number 5 is Darby Allin, and a lot of people literally say, well, maybe you didn't like Darby Allin. I actually do like Darby Allin. It's just that technically, hello Godlike, hope all is well. But yeah, Darby Allin to me is at number 5 because at the end of the day, he's a good wrestler, and I feel that technically he could actually break out and be the AEW champion at one day. But just like Sammy Guevara, he does have the shadow of Sting, which technically brings me to number 4. It's Sting. I've always been a big Sting mark. I hate to tell you this, but even WCW days, you know, I freaking love Sting. So yeah, number 4 is Sting. You know, growing up watching Sting was a phenomenal freaking thing. I'm shocked the guy can still wrestle, and he's like 60 years old, I think, or something like that, or late 50s, early 60s. And this guy literally is explosive in AEW, you know. and he's putting younger guys over. He's helping Darby Allin, which I do like. But at the end of the day, you know, maybe it's for Sting's sake. I think maybe it's time to let Darby be himself, let him grow his own character, and be just be there for him if he needs it. That's what I would like the most. Or even a Sting heel turn, which he turns on Darby, and then you have a great match between Darby Allin and Sting, which I would love to see. Darby Allin versus Sting would be a great match, but that all depends on AEW's creative as well. Um, Number 3 would be Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy to me is a great wrestler. I literally thought that he was going to become AEW world champion and literally beat MJF, and then those two would actually have a rival. Um, on this past Sunday, I think. Um, but yeah, Jungle Boy's up there. Um, I think Luke Perry would be proud to literally see his son succeed because yes, it is Luke Perry's son, Jack Perry. So I think that would be good. So yeah, number 2 is Kenny Omega, hometown boy. You knew it. Everyone knew it. You know, he's from Winnipeg, Manitoba, right where I'm living right now. Born and raised. He's from Transcona. Come on, what's not to like? You gotta give the homeboy his freaking dues. And then number 1, everyone kind of knows what number 1 is. It's MJF. You know, uh, I've said it many times that MJF is probably the best wrestler I've seen in quite some time. Um, you know, like he's cocky, he's ignorant, and just raw power to him. He goes out there, he talks shit, but he backs it up. And that's what I love. If you can back up the frickin' heel shit, you got a frickin' successful career. But if you can't back it up, you just look like a dumbass. But yeah. So those are the top 10 wrestlers Mr. Rock likes. Now we're gonna go into the top 10 that Mr. Rock doesn't like, and technically a lot of the top 10 wrestlers I don't like. I feel I just don't like their character in AEW. I don't. It's not a shot against them personally. It's just that I don't like their character in AEW, and I hope that they have a foreseeable future. And with number 10, it would be Jeff Jarrett. Um, I have a lot of respect for Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's been wrestling for about 40 years now, roughly. But I feel that in AEW, it just seems like he's there. And that's with a lot of these top 10 guys that Mr. Rock doesn't like. It just seems like he's there. You know, yeah, they literally did a tag team freaking thing with Jay Lethal, with Jeff Jarrett and everything else, and that's good and all. But I feel his time has come. It's time to literally put away the boots and maybe think about literally maybe trying to be a manager instead of a wrestler. You know, so that's where I see. Number 9 is Jay Lethal. Just like Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal to me, like he was good in TNA. Don't get me wrong, he was really good in TNA. But in AEW, it's kind of the same thing with Jeff Jarrett. They kind of fall thick and thin. That's why I put them on this list, but they're not. But they're high on the list, not low on the list. Um, but yeah, Jay Lethal to me, I feel has potential to literally do something, but I feel like the course has literally went past. You know, this isn't TNA. This is AEW. Maybe 12 years ago this would have been a different story, but we're not there anymore. You know. Number 8's Keith Lee. Uh, Keith Lee in WWE was good. Don't get me wrong. I've watched a little bit of WWE uh, here and there, and I did see some of Keith Lee's matches. He was good, but in AEW, it just seems like He's teaming with Dustin Rhodes, and ever since he lost that tag team titles with Swerve Strickland, it seems like AEW doesn't know what to do with the guy, and I feel bad for the guy, to be honest, you know, because he's not really getting a major push anymore. It just feels like he's on the mid card and everything else, and I do hope that he succeeds in the foreseeable future. But right now, he's on the list. And talking about lists, number seven's Chris Jericho. You know, he's the Ayatollah of rock and roll and everything else, but I don't like him in AEW this year. And I'm going by this year. I'm not going by their whole entire career. If we're going by their whole entire career, okay, Chris Jericho would be up there. But I'm going by the AEW freaking thing. Chris Jericho, when he first started in AEW, was really good. He was really good for the company and everything else. But right now, as we speak, Chris Jericho's teaming with a JS. A bunch of guys that are younger talents and everything that he's trying to help. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of respect for that. But it seems like they're helping him more and not him putting them over, you know? And that's where I literally go, is this the right idea? I don't think so. Because it's like Chris Jericho has a legacy for himself. These guys need a legacy, is what I would say. Where's their legacy? Literally being the shadow of Chris Jericho? That's not really a good legacy, man. And that's why I say that. Next one is Christian Cage. Christian Cage, I feel, would be a lot stronger if he had Edge with him. But in AEW, he had he's having an okay run, but like his matches with Jungle Boy were good. Don't get me wrong. His matches with Jungle Boy were good, but it just seems like he's there. Like, yeah, he lost to Wardlow on this past Sunday and everything else, but for the in the ladder match. But I just feel that Christian Cage is just there, you know, and that's the thing. Like AEW's roster is so freaking huge and everything else that I feel that technically, a lot of these guys are just there because they're there, you know. Number 5, I feel bad to put him on this list. I don't hate the guy at all, in a way, but I just don't like his AEW character at all right now, and that is Ethan Page. Last year, I loved Ethan Page's character. When he was teaming with the Men of the Year, freaking thing with Scorpio Sky, he was a phenomenal talent. He is a phenomenal talent. But this year, you know, the Matt Hardy freaking story with the Hardys, literally having his contract and all that. I hate to say it, it's a stupid storyline. It's not really going anywhere. One second he's liking Matt Hardy, next second he's hating Matt Hardy. Now he's trying to figure out where he's gonna be. I just find it really dumb, to be honest. And at the end of the day, it's not gonna go anywhere for the company if they continue this route. And at the end of the day, that's why he's on the list. Like a lot of these wrestlers, this list will change within the next year, probably. A lot of wrestlers are going to probably be done with the company. But number 4 is Brian Cage. Brian Cage, to me, was a good wrestler when he first came to AEW. He was a good wrestler when he first came, but right now, he's part of Ring of Honor, but he comes to AEW and with this embassy freaking thing, and I don't know where he fits in to this company. I don't know where he fits into a freaking AEW and that's the thing about Ring of Honor to AEW. They should keep them freaking separate. They shouldn't really freaking be wrestling on 2 separate shows because it really, as a wrestling fan, really confuses the fuck out of you. I hate to say it, and I understand that you want fans on both shows, but technically you have to let the show grow, you know. And when you're literally putting your freaking stars from Ring of Honor into AEW, it makes you literally lose value of Ring of Honor. Sorry about that, Tony Khan, but it's true. So number 3 is Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson, to me, he's had a couple matches, but at the end of the day, I've seen his work, you know, and now he's teaming with what's his name, Jay White, the Bullet Club Elite or Gold or whatever it's called. Yeah, Bullet Club Gold, I believe it's called. And I feel that technically two members do not make elite freaking faction. You know, now will this team expand? Yes, but I feel that Juice Robinson's probably the weakest out of the group. Jay White's pretty good, but Juice Robinson, you gotta step up your act, buddy. you know, yeah. I feel that he is a talent. Like what I see in Juice Robinson is a Brian Pillman, but the thing is about Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman was good. You know, he was a sensational talent. He was outrageous, but he was good. He knew how to play the game. But this is just going. I don't know. You know, and only time will tell. Number two is Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, to me, I hate to say it, but his last match should have been with Cody Rhodes at Double or Nothing 2019. It just feels like ever since then, it just feels like he's just there. You know, like he's had some okay matches, but nothing beats him literally wrestling his brother at Double or Nothing 2019. You know, and that should have been his farewell freaking thing. Like the guy's been wrestling for 30, 40 freaking years, something like that. Like his very first WWF match was here in Winnipeg, in a way, and I've seen it live. I was there, and I remember watching him, and he was phenomenal back in 1995. But it's been 28 years later, you know, and I recently went to AEW back in March, and I seen him wrestle, and I just went, this isn't the same guy, you know, and it made me scratch my head, like, why is AEW hired this guy when he and without giving him any lead to go with, you know, let him retire, let him have his one last hurrah match, and let him retire already, and that's why he's on number two because I just feel that way. And number one is CM Punk. I know a lot of people would literally give me criticism about this one, but hear me out on this. I feel that CM Punk in AEW is a bad idea. Yes, he does make money and everything else for the company. But at the end of the day, the guy didn't wrestle for 7 years, comes to AEW, has some okay matches. His best match was with MJF in the dog car match. But like he literally makes excuses for freaking being a wrestler. Like he literally still blamed Tony Khan for literally saying that he had to wrestle injured. Heads up, buddy. I've been a wrestling promoter for a while. Anyways, I was a wrestling promoter for about 5 years. There's no wrestling promoter in the history of mankind that's going to let you, with the safety, go wrestle injured. No wrestling promotion is going to let you do that. They're going to have doctors. All you have to do is literally say, hey, I feel a little sore and everything else. They're going to have a doctor check you out, you know, and everything else. They're not going to literally let you go out and freaking perform, get injured, and re-injure your freaking injury, you know. And he blamed Tony Khan. He blamed everyone. He blamed Chris Jericho, and he blamed John Moxley because he was wrestling John Moxley when he got injured. And it's kind of freaking stupid, you know. The backstage politics of wrestling. It's really freaking stupid. But I feel that Tony Khan, Chris Jericho, John Moxley were not in the wrong. CM Punk was in the wrong by doing that. You know, if he freaking even had a slight touch of injury that he fucking felt, he should have went to Tony Khan, knocked on his office, knocked on the damn door, and literally say, "Look, I'm not feeling well. Can I get the doctor check up on me? I think I got a sore freaking leg or something like that." They would check that he wouldn't be cleared to wrestle. But I guess he was cleared to wrestle because he wrestled, you know. And yeah, and that's my state on the CM Punk situation. And honestly, I hope CM Punk's next run around is better because yeah, like you don't want to be number one on Mr. Rock's number one list. But I feel with the controversy that he's done with AEW hasn't been good. So, but yeah, that's my list of the literally 20 wrestlers. 10 I liked, 10 I disliked. And yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out. Crazy, Godlike, and the rest of you. If you're new, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, everyone.